and welcome to another episode of the On Trade Network sessions. Got a great guest with me tonight who's been really kind, sent me some lovely samples of some of her products. So this is Fern McCoy, the founder of Mockingbird Spirit. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. I survived Monday. That's the main thing.
Well, we're all getting through it, but this is a great looking bottle, and I'm really pleased that you sent it to me. Um, the the no and low category is really interesting to me. I enjoy alcohol, probably too much sometimes, um, but it's great for moderation, and it's great to try and find new ways of going out and enjoying yourself. It's certainly an industry that's going to be in tremendous growth, I think, over the coming years. So really pleased to have you on. Do you want to just do a little introduction about yourself, who you are, and kind of about the brands?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I'm Fern. I founded Mockingbird Spirit, which is a tequila inspired agave based spirit. It's 0% alcohol, but it's meant to sort of imitate tequila in the same way that mockingbirds imitate other birds. That's kind of how that all came to be. And then more recently, I've launched a tequila flavored beer, which is also non-alcoholic and has got a measure of mockingbird in it. So it's kind of a little answer to the ready to drink category as well, and kind of making it more accessible to more people, hopefully.
That's great. So how? Oh, firstly, I tell you what. Before I ask you any more questions,
Yeah.
if I were in a venue doing drinking tequila, it would probably start with a shot. So
Uh-huh.
I've poured myself one, and then I'll have a long drink afterwards. Then, but cheers anyway.
Cheers.
I didn't have any lime to hand. Uh, that's really lovely. It smells like tequila, which is good. It's not quite as hot, obviously. It's really nice. I can imagine that being great as part of a long drink, um, and a great substitute in a cocktail, a mocktail, to still give you that taste profile of that tequila.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the ingredients that we used in it was some habanero. So it kind of does have a little bit of that kind of tingle to it that you'd kind of expect from alcohol, but obviously you're never going to get that full blown,
No,
you know.
it's got warmth to it, definitely. But it's really pleasant. So it's it's pleasant to drink. So you could probably drink that on its own over ice, uh,
Yeah.
as a kind of short measure, something to sip in the evenings.
Mhm.
I quite like rums and bourbons and things like that, and maybe tequila at times. I could see that being a really nice drink to have just over ice on its own. Um,
Yeah, I've had that feedback before from a lot of customers that they do enjoy it. Actually, they prefer it on its own, not to kind of mix it with anything to lose any of the nuances that are maybe involved in non-alcoholic spirits because they are going to be different to alcohol. And sometimes where you want to mask your alcohol, sometimes when it's a little too strong, this may be in another way you want to bring it out more rather than mask it.
yeah. Well, so it's lovely. I'm gonna pour one now, whilst you're telling us a little bit about how you started the business and how long you've been going. And I'm gonna pour one with some Coke.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. So I used to work in the alcohol industry for several years and kind of come from like a marketing events background. And I kind of always had my ear to the ground with the low and no scene because my other half doesn't drink alcohol at all. So we were always just kind of really interested in what was going on there and seeing it. We're like, oh, trying all the new things. And then I was just kind of my personal favorite alcoholic drink is tequila. I was thinking, oh, I wonder if anyone's going to do a tequila. That would be so interesting to see what happens. And, like I was quite keen to find out about that. And then I kind of took it on as a little bit of a passion project of my own, like just because I was so interested in mixology and drinks and everything around that, and then the low and no scene. And yeah, I started having a go myself and seeing whether, could it happen? Like, so the main ingredient is agave. So I sourced some from Mexico. So it's the same Mexican blue weaver agave plant that's actually in real tequila. and then kind of was looking at all the different types of tequila I like, and I'm thinking, what is it I like about each of these though? So one of them I was thinking, I quite like the fact you're getting kind of cinnamony, peppery notes from it, and then like another one, I'm like, gosh, it kind of almost tastes a little bit citrusy, and kind of that's where I was like building up a bit of a picture of what it was I liked about these drinks, and then trying to emulate this in an arena of no alcohol. And then yeah, so I continued that journey on my own and was just kind of doing it in my spare time. And then it was kind of at the exact moment that COVID then hit, then my work was kind of depleted down to almost nothing. And I thought, okay, well, I've got all this time. I'm stuck in the house, got nothing else to do. So I just kind of cracked on with it for like 7 or 8 months, and was just looking and doing my research, and I was seeing that tequila was like going up in sales during lockdown. It was like 173% rise in tequila sales via like Waitrose, John Lewis kind of. And I was thinking, okay, so people like tequila. They're loving palomas and margaritas. But I know for a fact not everyone drinks alcohol. So there is this little, it's not a huge space, but there is a space here for a product like this, which is still extremely niche, but that there was a demand for it. So that's kind of what led me down that journey, basically.
It's great, and you know the low and no category is here to stay. It's going to grow. It's something that's been on my radar for quite a long time. So I used to work in beer, and
Hmm.
you know, many years ago there was only really a couple of non-alcohol beers on the market, and they were pretty rubbish, to be honest. You know, and so what people would do is they would choose, if they wanted a night out where they didn't want to drink, they do a soft drink, often quite gassy, you know, having a lot of fizzy drinks. And the other option people would have was they just wouldn't go out and socialize with their friends because it didn't feel like there was something for them, for people who wanted to still have that long drink, and flavoursome, almost alcohol-like occasion, but they needed to drive the car. They had work the next day, whatever. And there's that kind of peer pressure of drinking a Coke while all your mates are drinking beers or cocktails.
Yeah, it almost visually already points you out then, doesn't it? So
100%. And but what I have seen, you know, is that category, or it's several categories, all growing, and what there isn't enough of is ingredients like this, in my view. I think this is a great idea, by the way, and I'm not, you know, if you've seen any of the videos, I don't wax that lyrical about everyone's products. I try them, and you know, I think they're all good, but mocktails traditionally have a lot of fruit flavors and a lot of nice flavors in them, but they don't have that substitute for the alcoholic ingredient. And
mhm.
what's happening now is there's a couple of, you know, decent gin alternatives on the market and a few other flavors, and having a tequila flavor, which, you know, is a significant ingredient in a lot of really nice drinks. I think it's a great idea. So I genuinely think you'll do great, because it tastes good, and it gives you that feeling that you're out doing the same as you know. Peer pressure is huge. We might think we're all strong-willed and strong-minded, but it's really tough going out with a group of friends, and I've done it several times, you know, or tried to do it, and I end up giving in and drinking
Caving.
something else. But it's changing. There's a real shift. So yeah, no, absolutely well done. I'm going to try it with some Coke now.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I think yeah, there's so many cool different flavors coming out now in the non-alcohol scene. I especially really like some of the other things that are being done which aren't necessarily trying to be any sort of counterpart to an alcohol. They're kind of, we're carving out a whole new space, and it's just, yeah, it's so exciting and I love it, and I'm just kind of like cheering everyone on, because I think that, you know, it's innovation, isn't it? It's something completely new, and something that probably if you would have raised 10 years ago, people would have said not a chance.
But you know, talking about on trade specific,
Mhm.
for a moment, is that that we have a new generation of moderators in drink, and people who don't drink at all. And if we want to keep recruiting people to come and drink in our industry and socialize in our industry in a meaningful way, that is better than what they can do in their garden or in their house,
Mm,
then we have to be a little bit more inventive, and we have to give people more choice. Um,
mm,
I saw a really great chat at the Low to No event in the Old Truman Brewery. And there was a Q&A, um, and I can't remember which panelist it was, said that when you go into a restaurant or a bar, everyone knows you sell wine, everyone knows you sell beer. So why is it you show them a menu with wine and beer, but nothing that's low alcohol or no alcohol? You
mhm.
know, everyone knows that they're going to get a glass of wine or a pint of beer in your bar. So why don't you start your menu with all the stuff that people don't know you have? And I just thought that was a great sort of way to flip it on its head. And I think, we'll see more of that happening.
Yeah, definitely. And if you don't kind of try and make it a little bit more front and center, you are going to set yourself up for a failure. If you're trying to say, oh, we'll give it a go with the low and no, but then we're not telling anyone about it, or we're not really pushing it or helping it along, then that's going to prove really difficult because people need to see things, they need to understand it, they need to see it in situ on a menu and what that looks like and the flavors described and stuff. And then that's when the ball will start rolling, I guess.
Yeah, and I think something that used to be the bane of my life when I was sort of selling beer to pubs was dry January and go sober for October, because what it meant was people thought that in order to stop drinking, they had to stop going to the pub, and it and
Mm-hmm.
it and it really had an impact on the pub trade during those 2 periods of time. So actually, this is a solution. This is an absolute solution. You can still go out to a pub or a club. You can still go to a nice cocktail bar, and have quality drinks that feel a little bit more premium than just having a glass of Coke or lemonade.
Yeah, definitely. There's like sort of sophistication about having a non-alcoholic spirit in a nice non-alcoholic drink that you kind of understand, and it's not orange juice or cranberry juice. Like those are fine as ingredients, but not as the main body of it, because that it's not going to make you feel like you're on a night out. It's going to make you feel like you're at the breakfast table.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got a beer here. So who produced? Did you produce the beer then as well?
Yeah, so then I produced the beer with Fortitude non-alcoholic drinks, and they make non-alcoholic beer. And we decided to kind of put our heads together because would never have classed myself, and I still don't class myself as a beer expert, but Fortitude are. I was making the non-alcoholic spirit. It was a natural partnership, and sort of I brought my expertise, and they could bring their expertise, and we just it was kind of, I knew I wanted to do a ready to drink, so for summer, and for because with all these lockdowns and stuff, it looked like it was going to kind of be the summer of outdoor activities, whether that's the beach, the picnic, or barbecues maybe. And I thought, oh, the beer would be great even if we are allowed to go back to pubs, because obviously everyone likes drinking beer at pubs, but even if we did have to spend a little bit of time at home, it could still be a versatile drink. So yeah, that was how the beer came to be.
So it's like a tequila beer.
Yeah, so the probably the most prominent one that would come to mind is like a Desperados.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice beer. It's got a nice malt flavour to it, and then you do get a little bit of that tequila feel as well. It's refreshing and easy to drink. So no, I'm a beer guy most of the time. So you've got
Yeah.
um, there's the beer category in low and no is also significantly better than it used to be. I think, like I said earlier, there was some very few beers like Caliber and whatnot on the market years ago that you really wouldn't want to have in a pub. Whereas now there's some really great choices, and this is lovely. You could definitely have that at barbecue. or in a beer garden.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's kind of it was the flavors that I like when I have beers. Like I said, I'm not a beer expert, but I knew that I wanted it to be that sort of light, golden, refreshing, that sort of flavor. And I thought that would marry really nicely with the spirit as well, in a way that maybe not another spirit or another beer would be able to. So it kind of was like striking that balance, I guess, but keeping it on brand with what I'm trying to do, which is, yeah, the tequila alternative.
Yeah, it's great. And so, is it safe to say that lockdown was a good opportunity for you then, because it gave you time to develop your brands?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess like it was good in that sense. It does mean that it has been, I would imagine, a lot more challenging though, getting into the on trade and everything, because where everything was so stop start with that, and then when I'm approaching them, I totally understand that this is the bottom of their priorities right now. It's like they need to get business, they need to get the doors open, they need to work through some of the stock that's been sat there for ages. And, so that kind of maybe put me a little bit on the back foot. But I was, I'm like willing and happy to work with people and, create these relationships and let people try them, because I'm so sure that once you try them, I really feel like they could work in your bar, restaurant, pub, So it's kind of been, yeah, a bit of a balancing act of that and just being really sympathetic, empathetic towards what everyone's been going through, I guess.
Yeah, it's been tough. This is, that everyone's having to adapt and change the way they operate, and no and low is going to be a big part of that. And it should be a good time for you. What's the plan? What have you got going on in the next few months?
So I really want to like concentrate on the on trade and really building that side of the business, especially locally, because I'm based in Bristol and we are such like a foodie, drinky community that I just think that there's so much scope for this. And we love to like support local, and there's some amazing cool venues and stuff. So yeah, just trying to get out and about a lot more now that we're allowed to. And I've had one in-person meeting since I launched that. And that kind of like goes to show. So it's kind of like getting out there, meeting customers, getting feedback, meeting the on trade, and yeah, hopefully just growing the brand.
Well, I genuinely wish you all the best of success with it. Have you?
Thank you.
Where can I go in Bristol then to try this in a proper margarita that somebody else has expertly done for me, so that I haven't got to mess it up at home?
Yeah, there's a great venue here actually, which was born out of lockdown as well, called Breaking Bread. And they are championing a load of local restaurants and giving them a pop-up arena, which is like on a massive parkland. And then there's bars and live music, and it's all socially distanced. And they started it last summer, and now they're doing it again now. And yeah, you can get margaritas there with Mockingbird. And then recently, when they ordered Mockingbird, I just popped in a beer, as a thank you. And then they ordered the beer. So now we've got the whole collection up there.
Well, I look forward to drinking it out in trade.
Yeah, me too.
Well, again, I'm really grateful for you coming on. I'm really grateful that you brought some products for me to try. Um, I look forward to drinking it out and about, and I look forward to catching up with you out in trade as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. And cheers. I'm going to enjoy this.
Cheers.